SARS, any SARS will still go kill out away. No more SARS, no more SARS, no more SARS, boy, this draw, keep coffee. This draw, people are dead. What is that?
Why they vlog like that now? Why they vlog like that? Why they vlog like what do you do, Kwan?
Hello and welcome to Vanguard Live. My name is Govt. As the hashtag #EndSARS continues to trend, you see protest massively on the streets against police brutality and the anti-robbery squad in Nigeria. These protesters have made some laid down some demands, but the question is, will the federal government meet to this demand? And after this demand has been met, will they actually leave the streets? Doing this with me today is Mr. Hassan Taiwo. He is the very, very active EndSARS protester joining me via Zoom. Mr. Hassan Taiwo, you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Let me just say that I'm not just an active protester. I'm also the spokesperson of the Youth Rights Campaign, a platform which is playing an active role in this movement.
You're welcome to the show. All right, looking at the high rates of poverty and hunger, would you say that this whole protest thing is as a result of anger, like accumulated anger in the minds of these youths?
I mean, definitely, because don't forget that the EndSARS movement, as an hashtag and as a movement, has certainly been in existence since around 2016. There have been both online and offline events over the last 3 years, including some protests. But nothing that we have seen before now is comparable to what we have seen since October 5 or 6, 2020. And what that means is that there is something else beyond just police brutality that is driving this mass anger. And that's because this police brutality, this constant killing of young people, this profiling and attacks, on Nigerians by the police and other security forces also coincides with the failure, of the Buhari government on other issues, including on issues of education, on healthcare, the absence of jobs for young people, the absence of opportunities, the hopelessness of life in this part of the world, and the complete decline, and collapse in the living standards of the mass of the working people across the length and breadth of the country. That is what is driving this movement, and that's why you see that it's not just only the youths that are out, but among the vast majority of the workers, the poor, there's enormous sympathy for what the youths are doing.
All right, sir. Looking at the Inspector General of Police actually organized a new body, that's the SWAT. Do you think organizing that body at this point where this hashtag EndSARS protest is high is a good idea?
Well, I don't think it's a good idea. I think what is indicated is that the Inspector General of Police and the federal government, they do not intend, to stop the repression that the state police as well as other agencies are known for, because SWAT, from its description, is meant to be a militarized unit of the police dealing with armed robbery and other violent crimes. It's likely going to be heavily weaponized, and what that means inevitably is that it's also going to commit repression of people. It's going to commit human rights abuses at the end of the day, and that's why we think that that response, creating a SWAT as a replacement for SARS is completely misplaced. And we think that what is needed is actually democratic control of policing to ensure that we have policing as a civil body that does not have to patrol the street with guns, that is friendly to citizens, and that maintains the normal running society without having to abuse people's rights or to commit extrajudicial executions.
All right. Talking about this hashtag #EndSARS, it's said to be a peaceful protest. Yeah, they said it's a peaceful protest. But then, with all the killings and the dead, the recorded killings and dead happening in the protest ground, would still say that this is actually a peaceful protest.
Sorry, come again, please.
I said the hashtag #EndSARS is said to be a peaceful protest. Now, both with the killings and deaths happening in the protest ground, should we still say this protest is a peaceful one?
The EndSARS protest has been peaceful so far. There has been any violence. It's only because the state has deployed police, paid talks, and sincerely this morning now, they have also deployed the army against protesters. Those are the incidents that have made the EndSARS protest to be violent where they have been violent. In many cases, the majority of the protesters have been peaceful, recognizing that the only means to achieve their demands is by being civil, by following the laid down rules and regulations, and ensuring that their voices are heard.
But then, do you think there is something the protesters are not doing right, or there's something that they are doing that actually leads to this brutality happening in the protest ground?
Well, from my own point of view, I don't see anything that the protesters are not doing right that may be causing this tax. Don't forget that the repressive actions of SARS and police brutality have been occurring over the decades without the government, whether the state or federal level, actually responding to this. It was only when the protest started that we got to see some of the actions that they are taking today. What that therefore means is that the actions of the police, even right before now, has always been endorsed by the government, so that citizens do not really have to do anything special, before you have the police brutalizing them. So I do not think that the protesters are doing anything wrong, and that's why you're having these responses from the police against the protesters. I think what it means really is that you have a government that is not willing for the citizens to express their mind in any way possible, and is ready to continue to repress them, and that's why the youth are fighting back. My appeal will be that to ensure that the police are not able to repress the youth any further. The rest of the oppressed population needs to rise up. We need the workers to also rise up. We need a 48-hour general strike of Nigerian workers to say that as workers, we cannot continue to go to work while our children are being killed at the barricades, and therefore we are stopping work for 48 hours to join our children at the barricades. I think that's going to be a powerful statement that will demonstrate to the government that this kind of repression will no more be tolerated any further.
All right, it has been reportedly stated that these youths are being used for political purposes. Like the reason for this whole EndSARS protest is for political purpose. How true is that? Okay, I think we have been on some network failure right there. We're trying to fix it and try our possible best to get Mr. Hassan Taiwo back.
Nothing like that.
Making sure that the demands are being met for before things would go back. That's to show you that these people are actually in for this. Like they really are in for this. They say it's not business as usual. This is business. This is a very serious business, and the 5 demands of these people need to actually really be met to take them off the streets of Lagos.
naira just for me to be able to travel down to the site. So we are out here today because we want to end SARS. We wanted to do something. When Okada people they said they were heavy robbery, they banned them from movement. But now we are saying we want an end to SARS because they are brutalizing and harassing us. And yet they are telling us that they can't end it. We want to end SARS today. This is why we are here and we are sleeping here. We are not moving away. So we end it. So this is why they go.
See, imagine. Because she's so you.
What's that video now? What's that?
She has the right to video now. Okay, can you say?
Oh, what? Don't pass the motor here.
They're beating now.
Imagine.
They're beating now.
They're even.
Why they vlog like that now? Why they vlog like that? Why they vlog like what do you do, Kwan?
This guy don't play ball. What's the way they upset? Go there, go carry out.
Make it shoot me.
But why are they breaking our gates? Why are they breaking our gates? Why are they breaking our gates? For what now?
But that guy you just carried wasn't playing football. That guy you just carried wasn't playing football. That guy you carried wasn't playing football.
This is where they sleep on you.
That guy you carried wasn't playing football. That guy you carried wasn't playing football. That guy you carried wasn't playing football. Shoot! Okay, you are shooting at us. You are shooting at. You are a police officer. You are shooting at us.
Shoot! Jesus. You don't check on shoot now, idiot. Arrest me. Come arrest him. You should come out. You should leave
I cannot hear. Don't worry. Can you imagine? So he's shooting at us. Just imagine. You go arrest me when they play ball. That I captured everything. I cannot there. Just imagine.
Hello,
Also,
welcome
should you write
back.
that? Hello.
In case you just joined the show, my name is Gift Mac, and then still on this hashtag EndSARS. There was a prison break in Edo State, and of course we have our correspondent, Mr. Aliyu from Edo State, to give us an update on this prison break. He's joining us via a phone. Mr. Aliyu, you're welcome. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, good afternoon. I can hear you.
All right, so welcome to the show. Please, about I don't know, we need an update on the prison break that took place in Edo State.
Yeah, the thing happened in the early hours of today, and it is believed that those who went to do that are not originally part of the EndSARS protest. As early as 6:30, 7 a.m., they were already gathered in front of the prison. The prison is situated along Saple Road, so it's just by the roadside. So what they did, they mounted bonfires opposite the prison, and were, gathering in the name of the EndSARS protest. So I think around 8 o'clock, when the number had swelled, they started gyrating, shouting, singing, and then started throwing pebbles into the prison, which is just about 50 meters from where the protesters were gathered. And along the line, they overpowered the few security men at the gate and broke open one of the cells. And along the line, some of the prisoners escaped, and about 3 of them were rearrested.
Okay.
Then only 2 of them remained in the particular cell that was broken. According to the prison source, only 2 of the prisoners remained. They didn't go. So those ones were now relocated to another facility.
Okay.
And along the line, there were gunshots. 2 persons are dead as we speak.
Yeah?
Yes, 2 persons are dead. Because while the exchange of fire was on, the prison guard had to now shoot into a bus. Apparently, they thought maybe the occupants were some of the escapees, and in the process, 1 person was shot, who eventually died by the exit gate of the central hospital.
Okay.
Then another person was shot just beside the High Court complex.
Okay.
And the information we had was that after the Benin prison issue, they were going to Oko prison for another attack. Oko prison is a medium security prison in Benin here. But the prison officials were able to mobilize their personnel.
Okay.
And as we speak, there is heavy security at the entry gate of the Oko prison, while the protesters are, setting bonfires opposite the Oko prison.
Okay.
So for now, that's the situation. And the Benin prison that was broken into had to now reinforce. So presently, as I speak, there are several armed prison officials around the prison.
Okay.
And we've been having intermittent gunshots from them. While the protesters, some of them are also armed with pump action guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just now, the state government had imposed a 24-hour curfew.
Okay.
Yes, the secretary to state government just issued a statement about a minute ago, saying that from 4 p.m. this evening to 4 p.m. tomorrow, Edo State will be completely, closed down. Okay. No more protests, because the protest is obvious have been taken over by suspected hoodlums across the states, across the city.
Okay.
Even right now, information you're reaching us is that Auchi is in Edo North, at the headquarters of Esako West. Protesters have started protesting and they are going violent, stealing people's, harassing motorists and stealing people's phones.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the situation.
Okay, but are protesters still parading around the area?
Yeah, there are some areas. You know, in Benin, what the protesters did was to take off, commence the protest simultaneously in different parts of the state capital.
Okay.
In Sapele Road, at Ugbowo,
Okay.
in Aduawa, in Kenwa Road,
Okay.
Airport Road. So they are in various locations. The ones that are peaceful, they are still on.
Okay.
For instance, if you go to Sapele Road by Santana Market, they are still gathered there. In fact, they have even turned part of the road to a kitchen, cooking and eating. Then at Tuselu, along Lagos Benin Road,
Okay.
you know, they've been dancing around with mock coffee.
Okay.
Where they wrote some descriptions, you know, against President Buhari.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the situation for now.
Okay, Mr. Ali, you know, there are reports of hoodlums infiltrating the protesters. What does that mean for the end SARS protest?
In fact, the protests have been hijacked by the hoodlums, because even as at yesterday evening, people were going home, were paying their way back home. At every junction, you see bonfires. And you have to pay the boys before you can move. In fact, there are reported cases of girls being raped yesterday. And by this morning, as early as 6 o'clock, they barricaded virtually all the exit and entry points within the city.
Okay.
So before now, about I think about 2-3 hours ago, some of the NSAS protesters issued a statement that they have suspended their NSAS protest indefinitely, because it is very obvious that hoodlums have hijacked the process.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. Thank you very much for joining us.
All right.
All right. That's all we have for you today. Don't forget to follow us on social media handles displayed on your screen, and to get more of our top stories on things happening around the world globally, do follow us on our website at www.vanguardngr.com. Till I come your way next time, stay safe.
Nothing like that. No, bro, leave